Hey! Bloop bloop bloop. What's going on? Hey! That's not my desktop right now. Capture card. What are you doing? Hey, Gulim! Welcome! Hey, there we go. That's my desktop background. That was weird. Is it Gulim or Gollum? I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong when I say Gulim, but I don't know. Oh. Apple was here waiting. Hey, how's everybody doing? Virus protection turned off. Gulim. Oh, okay. I didn't recognize your username. Where? Computer, are you okay? What's wrong with you? Ah! Ah, there's people here! Ah! What's up, guys? Hang on, let me just question Windows Defender about its life. You're on. You're fine. Fish. Silence, Windows Defender. No more of your nonsense. I'm gonna have to scan this computer again for viruses, I have a feeling. I don't know why it's mad at me, but it's mad at me. How we doing? Also, hi, Cass. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm freezing. Luckily my cat has decided that today is a good day to hang out in the cat tree and not next to the desk, because I have her blanket, so... So many friends on a Friday night. How's everybody's week? I'm gonna continue scooting some stuff over from this big ass chart. Do some more world building nonsense, but you know, this is what the height chart looked like before, and this is what the height chart looks like now, and it's much prettier now. My verbs are much chibier now. Yeah, if anybody wants to talk world building, that's kind of what we're doing tonight. We're just hanging out, talking world building. I basically took the height chart that I made and posted and just squished it together. Gonna be, actually, here, I'll show you guys. I made, I made one for each, like, race, so, you know, everybody gets a highlight. Except for the Veos, apparently, because they're on the other row. There they are! Snake friends! So I just swooshed them. I just made a hand gesture, like, smooshing them together, and remembered I don't have a webcam, so you guys can't see me smoosh. So, yeah. So, I won't lie to you. I am not why does this keep changing? Just like this, so I see all my layers. I'm not very good at leading the conversation on this kind of thing, so if y'all got any kind of world-building stuff you want to share, go for it. Yeah. Isn't my thing, you know. I do want to, however, I want to grab... Well, they're a little too far up. I also... Yeah, stop sign, talk about, whatever you want. The big cat people are called Noldaru. So, yeah, they are Noldaru. I don't know very much about them past that. That's what they're called. So, I added all this stuff. I put these little boxes down here, with their footprint and, with their, like a little description about the difference between the... Alright there, tablet? We good? You in the wrong port again? Is that what it is? Is that the problem? There you go. Better. I have two of these lightning ports on the side of my laptop that I plug my my Cintiq into, and I think one of them's broken because every time I use it, tablet freaks out. So, a stop sign, it sounds like you're working on some world building stuff. That's pretty cool. Anybody else here into world building and that sort of thing? Oh, actually, let's take care of this real quick. I was gonna draw clothes on these guys. Because I don't want them to stand there being naked. I want them to be wearing clothing. So let's do that real quick before I forget to do it. I'm just gonna take the clothing off of these guys and put it on them. This is a little backwards from the way I usually work. Usually I incorporate this directly into what I'm doing, but not this time. So like usually this would already have been part of the line art, but so we're gonna see how this goes. Let's see how confused I get working on 2 layers. And also, if you have any questions for me, I'm pretty open book about this. So. I imagine these big chunky necklaces are pretty loose. So as to make them not quite so tight around their delicate little chest. But hey, Daniel, you made it! Did a little impromptu Friday stream, so we were all kind of discussing potentially doing some world building tonight, so I thought I would hop on and work for a little bit. Otherwise, I would have just sat on the couch and sat in a, warm fuzzy blanket and eaten a lot of food. So I'm currently transferring all the information from this document into the document on the right into the document from the left because this document is fucking huge and it's almost impossible to read on the internet. So we're gonna make it small and make it like a 6-part piece instead of a 1-part huge piece, and that way maybe more people can read it. Because as fun as this piece was to work on, it's pretty big and it's pretty hard to work on. It slows my whole fucking computer down. I've stopped into Daniel's streams a couple times this week. Kind of fun, just hanging out, chatting about the art world and craziness that goes on. So all the people we've met and so on and so forth. Daniel's got a pretty cool stream if you guys ever want to check him out. Good. I think there's maybe like a handful of art streamers. Most of the art streamers I've met that are in the chat right now are the kind of people that are really chatty with their chat. The kind of people who keep engaged all the time. Every now and then I actually drop out of a stream because the streamer's not particularly engaged. I'd rather come in and talk to people, so. It's the fastest way to get me to hang out is if you're gonna keep talking to me. Yeah, so how you guys doing? Stream? Yes, stream. Little impromptu stream. We're gonna attempt to draw clothes on this bird. Yeah, this document was a great idea, and also the worst idea, if that makes any sense. Like, if you guys want to check out somebody cool, Ribbontail has some great, on DeviantArt, has some great stuff like this. But, she made a huge, a completely ginormous document like this, and I was so inspired by it that I wanted to make my own, and then it was impossible to work on because it was so big. That didn't last very long. And I think from now on I'm gonna stick to these little bit smaller ones. I really had fun with the big one. It's too hard to work on it because the computer slows down too much from having all those layers. The computer just doesn't know what to do with them all. It's a lot of fun. Cass, if you're in the Discord, there's actually there's a tab in the Discord called Art Resources. It's kind of an open space for people to share
really anything that they think other artists in the chat might like to use or just to share with people. And I did put the text version of this document in there if you guys ever, and actually for anybody, not just for Cass. I spoke directly to Cass as if that was for her. You know, anybody's welcome to use it. It's just like a template that I made for myself to do this kind of thing in. And you can use parts of it too. Because I really kind of amalgamated that from other people's charts, too. You know, taking things I liked about one person's and adding it to another, so if you ever want to use it. Alright, I'm going to scroll back up and read what Stop Sign's writing, because I know Stop Sign's talking about one of their species. I have a wool species in it where they are pre-Iron Age. They are mostly tribal or clannish. However, there is one thing that unites all the tribes, which is the monotheistic religion they all follow. Oh, and the chat scooched. Okay, there it is. However, it's also because of it I have driven... Oh, sorry. However, it's also because of it that has driven their lands into crazy, deranged, and most of all nearly feral. Even though the feral comes from a famine across the country that won't go away because they won't do anything about it. That's pretty cool. So it sounds like you've got this kind of they're still sort of wild. Like a lot of people go ahead and they make their fantasy creatures, you know, more civilized, but you've kind of got a species going on there that's a little bit more wild and kind of untamed. A pretty cool start. I do wonder who would win in a fight now, though. You know, your wolves or my my snakes. My snakes would absolutely want to fight you, so, you know, that's a good start. Yes, just for you. Only for you. Hey, Dyer! Welcome! Oh, it's like a party in here. Got a little party going on. Friday party. Streams are gonna get a little weird for the next couple weeks because Christmas is coming up, so I don't know what we're gonna do with that because I'm not gonna be home, have any of my equipment. But yes, raise the roof. Yeah, you guys all hear stream and you just come running. And you're like, yes, please, heart, yes. I always say that when I see somebody like in the Twitch, you know, creative tag, and I want to watch their stream. It's like, well, your art's nice. I'm a simple person. I see nice art, I click. I see potential, I click. It's Friday night and we're chilling, yep. Surprised my cat hasn't come in to crash our party yet. Usually she wants everything to do with what's going on. Alright, we'll give her little flip things, maybe. So... I've been wanting to work on this all week, but just work just in general has been insane this week. I think I described it to someone as a vortex of madness. And that's... so... Yeah, she's a little stinker. She actually has a cold right now. Babe. She's just sneezing constantly. I hope she gets over that soon, because I feel really bad, because sometimes she'll be fine, and then all of a sudden she'll have a sneezing fit. And it's that cute little kitty sneeze, and you feel bad about thinking it's cute because she's, like, sneezing, but... the new version of the Jedoa look really funny with clothes on. And I wasn't really intending for that to happen, but they do look really funny with clothes. This is gonna be interesting. I don't usually do my line art this way. Oh, hey, Inspiration! I didn't even see you for a second. Hey, what's up? What's going on? It is like a party in here. Friday night party. I could have them not wear clothes. That's entirely a possibility. However... See, like, clothing and jewelry is a big part of their culture, though. Not because they have to wear it, but because they want to wear it. That they like to dress up. You know, that's kind of part of their thing. they have a lot of, like, that's kind of like their way of like self-expression. They kind of, it's a little bit smaller brush. I could just open this document and put clothes on the bird, but so. The old version look okay in the clothing because they're more humanoid. These guys are a little bit more bird-like. Like this new version of them is a little bit more bird-like, so they look kind of silly with clothes, but that's fine. Oh shoot, you know, I just realized though I'm gonna have to color match the shadow. That's gonna be fun. I might have to open this document and put on them. You know what sheet's not gonna be a lot of fun? It's gonna be the Moldaru sheet, though, because they're so fucking huge. They're just gonna take up the whole sheet. Yeah, I totally should. Just have one that's just super decked out. Well, let me try coloring the clothes in so they're not just a red outline, and we'll see if that makes them look better. And maybe they are supposed to look a little goofy. I mean, the Jedoa are kind of a goofy race, you know, they're not super serious. They're kind of silly and little, and everybody likes them because they're very friendly. So it might fit them to have them look stupid in clothes. What I really want to do, though, is one of these days I want to draw a Jedoa in, like, modern clothing. Like, I want to put him in, like, a hoodie and jeans. Like, a human just found a Jedoa and dressed him up in real people clothes. just to see what he would look like in, like, human clothes. Because I think that would look hilarious. Because a lot of Jedoa clothes are, like... I mean, this is a little bit more of a collar, but... A lot of them are very open around the chest because this is kind of like their second stomach and their lungs and stuff, so they don't really cover it. But a lot of clothing that they put across their chest area is, clothing. A lot of if they put any fabric around their chest, it's usually, like, at the most, it's like a little bit of a tighter wrap towards the waist. But a lot of it's really baggy, and some don't even wear tops, but they wear sort of loose tops that are open on one side so it doesn't compress their lungs too much. And so I sort of, if you know, I guess they wouldn't really be able to wear like a hoodie or whatever, but I don't know. So like a lot of like their style of clothing is not as many shirts and a lot of looser fabrics. Whereas, like, a human would wear a little bit tighter clothing, but... see you later, stop sign. Thanks for sharing all your stuff. You got a lot of cool ideas. They're coming together. They're cute little guys, yeah. They're cute little chubbers. You know why I think it looks funny is because I elongated their waist a little bit. So the belt looks funny. I don't think the belt is wrong. I just think it looks weird because it's not normal looking. I think that's what it is. Yeah, sleep well, stop sign. Have a good night. Maybe you'll be back tomorrow. This outfit's gonna look... This guy. I'm gonna do it anyway. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily wrong. I think it's just that it looks different, and therefore it's a little bit strange. I haven't decided what kind of clothing I want the Moldaru to wear, the cat centaurs. I have not decided what they should wear yet. The Veas, I've already kind of decided that they don't really wear clothes. The snakes. Guys. I've already kind of decided that they don't wear clothes. They just dress themselves up with, like, bones. You know, they might pierce their nostrils with a bone, or they might, you know, drill a hole in their horns to hang jewelry from. If they feel like doing anything like that. Or more things that would be sort of like armor. So, like, if they were gonna wear, like, a shirt sort of thing, it would be more like, you know, like a chainmail made out of bones or something. Like, they wouldn't wear, like, a shirt and they can't wear pants because they don't have legs, so snake pants. So like that's I kind of imagine they wouldn't really wear clothes, but yeah, Golem. I think it is. I think it's just that it's all right because their torsos are long. Their torsos are that's just the way their torsos look. Of course, the Jedoa on the right here is much different in color from that guy, so that's something that happened. This guy's kind of got little funny suspender things going on here. Well, they're almost like suspenders, but not quite. Yeah, Apple, sorry, I saw you wrote something and scrolled back up. Yeah, I think, very restrictive clothing is very out of character for them. Their children don't really wear clothes that often, when they're little. You know, the most a baby Jedoa will wear is, like, a little, you know, little pants or something, but even then, they don't really like wearing clothing. Because the little kids want to run around. They want to run around and get in trouble, and clothing is very restrictive for that. What genre do you usually write, Cass? You said... I don't remember... I remember I asked you that, and I don't remember what your response was now. It's been like a whole day, and I'm like a goldfish, so my brain just dumps information. Although I remembered that you were a writer, so that happened. That one I remembered. Maybe I'm not that useless. Paranormal, okay. Now, what is the term middle grade? I've never heard that before. Is that like... I don't know. I sort of have a little context, but... Like, using my context clues, it kind of sounds like it's like what, like everything's in the real world, but there's magic, sort of thing. I hear paranormal and I think ghosts, so... A little skirt dealio going on. Oh, okay. Okay, that's an age range, not a... Gotcha. I learned something new today. I'm not gonna lie, and I feel bad for saying this because you're a writer, but I honestly don't really read that often, so I'm not familiar with some of that terminology. It's not that I don't want to read, it's that I don't have time to read. Tassels on him. Not going to. I think we talked one night about how these guys would walk, because I hadn't really decided. And then I remembered we talked about them maybe hopping, and then that cracked me up. Like, in my brain, I, like, pictured them, and just, it made me get... I'm a very simple creature, and I remembered that we talked about how my Jedoa might hop, and then I just laughed. I would love to get an animator to do that for me some days, do the walk cycles, because I'm so bad at animating that I would never be able to come up with walk cycles for these guys. Like, one of these days I'm gonna commission somebody to make walk cycles for my guys. Or, like, you know, find a voice actor who could do voices for them. Like, that would be really cool, too. That'd be a neat little thing to include with the character sheet, is, like, what do they sound like? Because, like, I kind of have a little bit of an idea how they sound in my head, but I am not a sound designer by any means, so... Interesting. Cass. Yeah, it seems like that's how books are. It seems like you either go from, like, the kind of fantasy or even just, like, general books that, like, teenagers can read, or you go immediately up to, like, slightly, probably a little bit erotica type stuff. Like the kind of, like, romance novels your, you know, mom reads. Oh! Daniel, thank you for the host. Hosted the Lotl. Appreciate it. That's the first time anybody's used that alert, so you got to see the cute little swimming axolotl in the corner there. I made one of those for all the different alerts, but, you know, nobody uses them, so... Mostly because I think I passively, discourage it. I feel so awkward about people giving me money that, like, nobody uses the bit thing and nobody uses the donations. I always feel bad when people give me money. Don't make me earn it. Don't just give it to me. And then I have to remember it's a gift and that I appreciate it. I always appreciate it, it's just I feel awkward. But I'm glad somebody used the host one, because the host one is free. You don't have to give me anything to use the host one, except for your love. Yes. We've never used it before. First time. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Alright, Cass. See you later. Yeah, Apple for donations and stuff, because I have affiliate, so we can, you know, if you guys donate or whatever, a little pop-up happens, but you guys know how awkward I am. I'm an awkward human being, so... You know, I'm an awkward Lotl, so... I just, I feel weird. Not necessarily even bad weird, I just babble a lot. Anyways... That one in there? I had to think about the pattern for a second, sorry. I got real quiet. I guess we'll give this guy his other arm, too. He's fancy. He's a fancy bird. Well, hey, I'm glad you think I'm good enough to host. High praise. Look how funny they look with clothing on. I think they look funny too because this is the first time I've ever drawn them with clothing. I've never drawn the Jedoa with without clothing, or with I've never drawn the new ones with clothing. I should say. Obviously I've drawn the old ones a quadrillion times with clothing, but not these guys. The Mark II have not been drawn with clothing. I tried to get all the non-drawing stuff finished off the screen just because I end up just tabbing back and forth a whole bunch trying to figure out where I want to put stuff, and I don't think it's that fun to watch because I just flail around in Photoshop for like an hour before I decide what I want. Like, there's so much... When it comes to doing the layout for a sheet like this, it's actually, honestly, 80% of the work goes into fiddling with the layout, trying to get it just right. I mean, because this sheet started out with, like, way less space at the top, and I took both of these boxes and dragged them down because there's still this huge footer space, and I don't know what to put in there. Like, I almost feel like I should extend these boxes down to make them fill up the space a little nicer, but I don't know what I would put there, so there's just a big box at the bottom, and I don't know what goes in that area. I still think it's kind of amazing that this document is smaller than the height chart I made, though. Like, this document's 8 by 10 in case I ever want to get it printed, and it's still smaller than that height chart. Oh, that's true, yeah, maybe I could pull the... Well, I don't have a lot of space, though. Although I guess if I don't fit everything in here, I could always shrink this up. If I drag these boxes up all the way and line them up, like, not touch the box, but get it pretty close. Yeah, see, I really still don't even have space for it down here, though. Because it's this area down in here that I need. Like, I don't know what to fill this little tiny sliver with. Because my life cycle thing here. Maybe I could just put, like, a little graphic in there. Like, maybe I could draw a little, like, a couple frames from, like, a run cycle for them and just, like, draw them across the bottom just to fill the space in, like a little footer. You know? Just draw them. And it's just that little box is so tiny, and even if I pulled this up another, like, notch, it would still only be, like, that big. Like, I already know what's going in these boxes. These, I'm taking the butts. No, I'm gonna put the butts in here. I might only do 2. But the butts, the tail feathers, and the hands. Like, that's what's going in here. But I guess I could, maybe if I didn't do these quite so big, I could make room for another box down at the bottom. That's the other thing. I don't know how big those boxes are. So then I could increase this box to that big. But I still don't know what I would put in here. I don't know if this stuff really fits. Because not only do I need to put space for the images, but I also need space for the... See, like, part of the problem is I need space for the text. Having space for the text is actually, like, 80% of the issue. But... I'm thinking that this sheet's gonna end up in, like, 4 parts. I think it's gonna end up... Or, This sheet's gonna get broken up into a lot of parts. Because I think this is gonna go on one, maybe these two go together. Like, the biology and the life cycle can go on one, depending on how much space this takes up, and then, maybe I can somehow cram all this together, and then this is gonna be the big one. See, I'm trying not to alter the shape too much, because I don't wanna stretch the canvas, because if I ever want to print this is gonna need to be in a print size anyway. I don't know if I'm ever going to print it, I just want that option to be there in case anybody's interested in it. You know? Like, maybe someday that could be, you know, something cool, but I would need to leave the option open, you know? But, anyways. Alright, see you later. Glad you could come hang out for a little bit. At this random little impromptu stream. Good little random Friday night stream. Might have to, honestly rethink the schedule a little bit now, because of course my family, I think their schedule is flipping around, so Saturday might be not as easy for them anymore, so maybe or Saturday's becoming easier for them, so maybe we'll start doing either more stuff with them, or... I don't know. I don't have a goddamn clue how I'm gonna shade that, but it's done. So, that happened. I did a thing. Why in God's name did I use that color of brown for this guy's outfit? It's like the same color as the background. What was I thinking? It's gonna take me a little while to condense this sheet down into small pieces. It's probably a good thing to do it now, though, because I'm starting to finish up the notes for the Veos a little bit, so you know, maybe we can start one of those on stream. We can do the whole sheet. I think the other reason they look funny with clothes on is because they're so bird-like right now that it kind of looks like how it looks when you dress up a cat. You know, like those people who put their cats in, like, clothing. Like, I think Apple was trying to make me do with my cat. You know, like, it looks off because they don't look like they should be wearing clothing, but they totally are. I don't know, like, it fits, but it still makes me... it's funny looking to me. They also look now exactly how I pictured them originally. I don't know if any other artists in the chat ever have that, but like where you picture something in your head and it's so vivid in your head, but you just can't get it right. And so you just kind of stick to whatever's like the next closest thing, and then, you know, one day it clicks, one day you just get it. Hey, there you go, pugs. Yeah, like pugs. Like when you dress up pugs. It's just like that. Supposed to be some sort of copper, but I'm a moron and didn't think about it, so there we go. Yeah. And it's so clear in your head, in your mind. You're like, oh yeah, definitely. That's what it would look like, but you can't get it. Quite so bright. A little bit extra bright and a little bit extra contrast. There we go. That's better. And actually, I don't think they really need that much shading either. Using some sort of reddish color, or we'll just stick with that. Yeah, that's fine. That's close enough. No one will know the difference. No one will know that I drew this clothing on top of them instead of, you know, incorporating it into the drawing. I just added this afterward. Well, no. I should draw them with a little hat. I never designed hats for them because I couldn't figure out how they would look. Because they don't really have ears or anything to hold hats on, so they would only, like, I don't know what kind of hats they would wear. Chest, so his shadow gets here. Glasses were another one that I had trouble with. You know, what happens if they have bad sight? You know, how do they wear glasses? And, borrowed the idea from somebody, but they basically surgically implant the glasses, like the frames, in their beaks. Sort of like a piercing, almost. So if they ever have to wear glasses, they're, like, embedded in the beak. I sort of imagine that it wouldn't really hurt that much, because it's, like, you know, hard. But... Hi, Aura! Welcome! Yeah, Daniel, they would. I think they would look silly and amazing. I think it would be a good kind of silly. I think it would be the fun kind of silly. Let's get some shading in there so it doesn't look quite so drastic. Or some blending in there, rather. Not shading. It's not... I've already shaded. I put the shade in there. Yeah, so you can't even tell I added this afterward, except for the fact that you're watching me do it right now. I desperately rely on my tools. It's like 90% of the reason that I can't function when I'm doing traditional art. because I rely so much on the Photoshop tools. Photoshop does most of the work for me. Oh, forgot. Active foots. That's true, they could strap them in, too. That's certainly an option. Feather accessories are also an option. Yeah, maybe they stick stuff into their feathers. I think there's some birds that do that. I think some birds will stick things into their feathers. I like that line. That's a nice line. In fact, I'll put one over here and over here, too. Makes it kind of look like I know what I'm doing. Yeah, little hair accessories would be cool, like if they made little pieces of jewelry to stick out of their feathers. Let me just get a highlight layer on there, and then the clothing's all set. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah, these guys didn't originally have clothing on, and I added it because they don't. Okay, well, they don't really need it. It just I wanted it because this is like the first picture you see on the sheet, so figured best to show them with all of their accessories and how they would want to be seen if they were designing this. I'll put a little bit of little light, not too much. Hey, look at this sheet! Neat! Oh, I'm so excited about it. Oh, it's coming together. It's so great, too, because this is how I pictured them. Like, this is what I wanted them to look like originally. They started out as these little teeny, bird friends that live in the desert. Now that the clothing's all colored, it doesn't look quite so awkward on them either. That could be from the fact that I've been staring at them forever, too, though. Now that we've been staring at them for, like, what, an hour? Now it doesn't look so strange. Oh, I forgot this actually here. Let's do a thing quick. This document open for some reason? Not save? Question mark? Click. I'm gonna pull this out of the Dropbox, because otherwise you're gonna keep getting a notification on the PC that keeps making you. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Aura. Aura, I don't recognize your username, so I think you're new. Are you an artist also? Do you stream or do you art at all? We've got a little art community going on here, so I like to ask if anybody else comes in here, arts or streams. Alright, let's draw some butts. Jedoa butt. Although I could probably just copy paste. It's because they're Jedoa butts, but in fact, I'm actually pretty tempted to do. Let's just do that. Because they're actually pretty close to the anatomy of the new ones too. They look like they've got a long torso, and the knees are pretty short, so I might just keep. The heads on these are a little off now because I redesigned their faces. They're a little bit less human in their facial construction, so I think I am gonna slip them on in over here. All dem butts. Ah, but you're thinking about it. That's what matters. Oop. Hey. Go in. I would say. The vector. Restaurant. Sense. Yeah, absolutely. And I had to kind of keep that in mind too. Oh, I'm gonna. I'm gonna put this one here, and I'm going to put this one on the side because it's taller. That should be plenty. Ah, gotcha. Are you more of a traditional artist in that case? Sounds like you do more traditional, since your computer's not up to what you would like. Well, I always like to try to recruit new people, because we like having more friends here. So if you feel like it, we got a Discord, and we all share art and talk about things that are not art also. So if you ever feeling like sharing what you're up to, we dig it. The Axie Stack loves it. We like adding more friends to the pile. We're very friendly. Get some butts in the sheet. Now, actually, I'm gonna keep the. There's two. Is it these? I am gonna redo the hands though, because these are just a little bit off. Wonder if I could get away with if we shrink these guys down a little. Actually, we could just them up a little bit, and then we take the doodle box, and then we take the text here. Little feathers that bleed, and they have small scales on it. No. On all three of those, and then we'll scooch them up a little bit. And if I stick them up in here, I just have to reformat this box to fit in this space. That gives us a lot more room to put something at the bottom, which is good because I need to fill up that space with something, and the more things we can fit on this page, the better. Because I have a lot of information to transfer. Digital and traditional. Oh, okay, yeah, you use your iPad. That makes sense. I always forget people can use iPads for their art because I could never get it to work. We'll just grab everything. Grab all the text, Jedoa, and all that stuff. Actually, we can't. Some of the text is linked to other things. Alright, that complicates things a little bit. Let's make these windows real small so I can see. But we need to grab everything that is not hands and foot. Maybe. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I've never really had an iPad, and I never could figure out how it works anyway, so. That's the line art for that. Here, their clothing, and that's the Jedoa. Let's slide them up a little bit. The problem with rearranging these boxes, everything looks like nonsense until you're done with it. Alright, that should be all the images, so we just remove the text. Here, this folder, that, this,
small scales. Oh, I never copied it. That's why that looks funny. And that should be all the text boxes, which we could just slide back into place. All is well in the world. Except that box is... Alright, let's grab this text box. For the record, I never actually fixed the issue with the font. I don't know why it's still mad at me about the font on this other document, but never fixed it, so... Fun fact, as somebody who is not very good with numbers, even a little bit, I am very good at remembering little sequences like that. So, like, I knew that I knew that the font size was 24, the spacing was 25, and the kerning was 120. Don't ask me why I knew that and why I remembered that from yesterday, but I totally remembered it. I don't know why. I'm so terrible with numbers otherwise, but for some reason, those stuck with me for today, so... I don't question it. I just go with it. Oh, thank you. Worked very hard on the first one. The first iteration was a nightmare. So the second iteration is going to be much smaller. The second iteration is not going to have quite as much nonsense going on. As far as the size. It's going to be the same, like, height nonsense, but... So, now I have a box down here. In which I could put a thing. I don't know what thing I'm going to put there, but I could put a thing. I made this space and didn't really consider what I was going to put in it. I move. Grab that box. Grab the other box. Grab this box. Auto-select, please. Give me that box. Give me the small box. Small box. Text. Hands. Slide. No. There isn't. Next. Okay, slide. Get these bad boys up. Boop. No, there isn't. I scribbled. A little bit. I don't know what happened to this layer. Oh, I was thinking if I was going to leave it as a little footer that I might, draw a walk cycle, but now that it's a bigger space, oh geez. Now that it's a bigger space that I can put more things in, I might make it an actual information box, but I don't know what I'm going to put in the information. Not really space to put the biology stuff. Maybe I don't even need the biology stuff, to be honest. Hadn't gotten this far. The problem is that I could crop it up, but... What are you breeding for? I could fit... Full aging on text. I was not quite as careful when I was organizing my... Unfortunately. I don't think I can fit all of these images in here. Yeah, they're just gonna be so tiny. I need, like, a little bit more space, but I can't make room for it or else you can't read the text. Which, shiny you looking for? Sorry, I, like, paused for a ton of time there. I'm trying to think of how I want to handle the rest of this sheet. I feel like I should uncompress everything back to the way it was. And just fill in the bottom, actually. I like the tighter design, and if I had something to put in that space, that would be great, but... Type layer... Ah, shiny Mimikyu, that's fun. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like if I had space... I feel like if I had something else to fill the space with, that would be good, but... Although... That's a lot of unnecessary blank space also. This is the not-so-fun part of, character sheet creation. Trying to get all your shit to fit. I want that. Give me that. No, I can't. Well, okay, so my plan for this is that if I ever... So, I want to keep it with I want all the sheets to have a consistent size. That way, if I ever, someday, if this ever gets to be popular, or if I ever get to a point with it where I'm comfortable doing something like printing it, I want it to be a printable size. So it's it's an 8x10. So I could print it as an 8x10 book. Sort of, a little bit. I'd have to fix some of these boxes, but... So it's roughly it's an 8x10, so that was a little bit of my, my plan there. It's not that I need to do that, it's just that I wanted to do it. Which I suppose makes things a little bit more difficult. I kind of want to put this one on the other side. Oh, they're in their own folder. That makes sense. Actually, I'll put these in their own folder since I've now identified them. I'll put this on this side. Doesn't touch the edge quite so much, and that way, that actually makes sense, because that'll put that on the side where the hands go, so... It does. It takes a lot of time to fiddle. I mean, can you imagine how long it took me to put this nonsense together? I scooched so much information around. I had to rewrite some of the text to make sure that it fit in the space. Alright, let me fix this text also, because this text is... Four, 5, I don't know why. I think I remembered it because it's all 20s, but... Now that I'm looking. There's also like 15,000 layers in here, so that also doesn't help. Up here. Smooshes them in a little bit better. Should probably label my layers. That would probably be, helpful. But I'm not smart, so we're not going to.
Filled it in. Beautiful. Put the texture down there. That's all it looks like it's supposed to be there. Not kind of in the mood to draw hands though, so I might skip that. Does anybody in the chat working on anything? Any projects going on? I know Daniel's been working on that what was it, ArtStation? It's an ArtStation challenge, I believe. This is my big ongoing project that's just always occurring at all times. Whoops. Hang on. I think I did this before I hit undo 1,000 times, but let me do that. And then let me do this. Oops, still not gonna... Players, what are you doing? First of all, why are you in here? Second of all, why are you not in here? What? I think I hit undo that many times. Alright, there we go. Fine. Do it this way. Won't move the art at the same time. The universe does not like me. Taking a break after you get burnt out is always the best thing to do. You can't let yourself get burnt out. The cat is coming to join us, so I'm going to give her her blanket back. If I don't give her her blanket back, then sit on the lap. Actually, not even 100% sure you heard the end of it. End of that statement. Hi, cat. What are you doing? Just sitting on this ottoman, looking suspicious. Save key before she jumps up here and murders me. A digital drawing of Necrozma would be cool. Hold up that folder on this layer. Oh, that is what. Okay. And go in a folder called header. You like my folder labeling? Heads. I love drawing Pokemon. Pokemon are so much fun to draw because they're easy. Well, and I mean easy in the sense that you don't have to come up with a design for them. You know, you're not thinking about like, what does this creature look like? You're more or less focusing on getting what you're drawing to look like them, you know? I always find drawing fan arts kind of relaxing. I think that's why I like doing commission work so much, is because it's not my stuff. So, like, somebody has already designed it for me, I just have to make it look pretty. Very relaxing in that sense. Well, hi, cat. Alright, see you later, Daniel. I'm glad you could come to a stream. Hopefully, see you around sometime. I'll keep an eye out for the rest of your streams, too. Yeah, unless it was a character design commission, which I have gotten. Although, to be perfectly honest, a lot of times I get a character design commission, the person who's giving me the request already has an idea of how the character looks in their head, so it doesn't take me very long to go from a verbal description into a visual description. I can think of a total of like one time that I ever had somebody ask me for a character design commission where they had verbal reference that was like no good, and it was really hard to work from, and that was like a really long time ago. I'm pretty good at like picturing what the other person is asking for based solely on verbal reference. I hardly have any trouble with that, and not to brag, because sometimes I do get a little stumped, and sometimes background things scare me. But for the most part, I haven't had too much trouble with verbal commissions, which used to be really hard for me. So I guess I say it in a little bit of a bragging way, just because it's something that I worked really hard to get good at, you know? Because a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of people that come to me because they don't have a design for their character, and they need one so they can get commissions from other people, and, like, I sort of adapted to the condition, you know? I got myself good at that because I needed to. But it's a brag, but... but not just to brag, you know? I love designing characters. I don't get to do it enough. Like, as a job. I've honestly been storyboarding my life away. And anytime I do get to design characters, it's something stupid. Like, the most fun I get designing characters or anything is doing stuff for people on the internet, because people on the internet have way better ideas than people in the industry, surprisingly. Or maybe not surprisingly. That doesn't surprise me that much. Character design? Yeah, it helps a little bit. I was talking the other night about, and I can't talk about the specifics of the project, but we had some samples come in from our factory for a project we're working on, and one of the projects uses my artwork. Like, it's not like I drew the character and then passed it off to somebody else and they drew it in their style, you know, as they were adjusting, and now it looks like their thing. Like, they literally took my artwork and made this product, this toy, out of my, you know, out of my artwork, and it's really cool. And I had it sitting on my desk, and then I was really sad when they had to take it from me because it had to go to a show. They were showing it to a company to see if that company wanted to put it in their store, and so they had to take my child from me. They had him sitting on my desk though. He was so great too. I cannot wait, and you know, I really hope that product comes out just so that I can show it to you guys, because it's so cute, and I'm so excited about it. Or I hope that they kill, you know, if they're not gonna do the product, I hope they kill it soon enough that I can just show it, you know, so it gets out from under an NDA, because I want to show you guys so bad. But best case scenario, it gets released, you know. We got actually the week before that. For some reason, the project that had my artwork was like a week behind, but the week before that, we got a whole bunch of samples for a different product, and that was really cool because that was my first time being in the toy industry, seeing samples coming in. Because it's one thing, it's a cool thing to see my own, you know, my own design on a product, but like that the week before that was the first time I ever saw product come in for anything I'd worked on, even if it wasn't like 100% mine or like 90% mine. I mean, because the project's always like a group effort, but you know, for the art to be mine was cool. I told them, like, day one, I was like, if you guys give me a product where I have to work on animals, I promise you I will attempt to put an axolotl in everything. The one project we were working on, we started working on the other day, I was gonna do it, but because of the nature of the product and what it was, it ended up looking a lot like the artsyaxolotl logo, and I was just like, no, I'm sorry, Russ can't have, you know, my boss can't have that. I'm sorry. He can't. That's mine. That's my logo, and if I get anything even close to that, I don't want to ever get in trouble. The artsyaxolotl is mine, so I will not give him that. So I ended up actually not attempting to include an axolotl in that lineup just because I couldn't come up with a way to draw it that it didn't look like my emotes. Like, I have a really specific way that I draw them because I want to make their gills look really like squishy, because they're kind of soft and weird in real life. So you know, I want them to have that big fluffy look to them. I'm working on it though. I'm trying. I'm trying my hardest. I tried to get a fox in there for Vulpine too. The first iteration of the project, I had a fox in there, but everybody thought it was a dog, or thought it was a cat, and so then it became a cat. And that's the only hint you get about what I'm working on at work right now, is that animals are involved, which is not that big of a hint about what's going on. Because everything involves animals. All toys have animals. Animals are very popular for some reason. I'll tell you what, though, you would think that being a toy designer would be, like, fun all the time, just constant fun. When really, it is sheer madness. Just constant, unfiltered insanity. And also, one of my coworkers just had a baby, so there's constantly been in the office. And she's actually a very good little infant. You know, she's very quiet for the most part. She fusses a little bit, but she's, you know, relatively good as far as infant goes. But, yeah. She's still a baby, and there's still a baby in the office. Aura, that's awesome. Oh, I want that so bad. I would love that. That happened in my... That's how I started doing a children's book with these guys. Was, I had a children's book class, and I was trying to come up with an idea for a story, and I couldn't come up with anything, so I went to my professor, because he's a children's book author, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm really stressed out this week, and my just creativity is not flowing at all. And he gave me the advice to go on, like, DeviantArt and on Google, and grab artwork of artists that I really look up to, people whose styles I really like, people whose concepts I really like, and make an art board. So we basically took big pieces of like foam core board, and I just taped and glued things all over it. And after I was done with it, I brought it to him, and he looked at it, and I had this, I think it was like a gator dog. I don't remember who the artist is now that I'm, you know, now that it's been 3 years since I did that, but one of the characters on there was from some artist on DeviantArt whose name I've unfortunately forgotten, but their character was Gator Dog. And my teacher looked at it and he said, you know, see, that's what you gotta do. You gotta come up with something original like that. You know, people are gonna, you know, people have seen cat all, you know, forever. People see children's books about mice. People see children's books about different animals. You gotta come up with something original like a gator dog. You know, something that's different that nobody's seen before. And so I showed him the Jedoa, the prototype Jedoa, and he thought they were like the best thing ever. He thought they were so cool. And that was kind of, it made me chuckle because, like, you go on Fur Affinity and you will see tons of shit just like this. This is not an original concept, you know? This is not new. I have not created anthropomorphic birds, but he was just so excited about it, and so I ended up writing a children's book about them. If you're ever feeling down about artwork, do that. Make yourself a little art board of just things that inspire you and just hang it somewhere where you'll see it a lot. Makes you feel good. An otter bear? That sounds great. I bet that's either really floofy or... Floofy. I don't know. It sounds like it would. It feels like it would be Floofy. Maybe it's not though, because it's an otter. So maybe not Floof. Maybe all Floof. Maybe no Floof. Got some highlights in there. Get your eyes all shiny. The nice thing about this guy down here, the nice thing about this guy is that she only needs one, and then I can just move her around. I don't know why I just suddenly started referring to this one as female, but no. So done. Floofy? Pretty floofy? Extra floof? Or just pretty floof? You should totally share it in the chat if you have pictures of it. Because I like seeing other people's artwork a lot. Ooh, Aura, what's your custom race? Oh, I like custom species too. You should share them too if you have art of them. You should share everything. I don't know if I mentioned this while you were here, Aura, but if you are interested, and you're interested in joining the Axie Stack, I don't know if you're following me already, but in the description under the video, there's a link to the Discord server called the Axie Stack, and if you want to, there's an art share tab in there if you ever want to, you know, drop anything you're working on in there. You know, we all like seeing each other's artwork, so it's kind of fun. We have a good time. Sometimes we talk too much, but, you know, it's a good time. We just slide her around and we'll just fix her hair. I know that doesn't line up there, but I'm putting it there anyway. It's scooched a little. I just launched a bunch of questions at you, by the way, and I'm sorry about that. I should have chilled for a second and just let you answer one question at a time. I get excited about people being here and then I talk too much. Hang on, I'm gonna pause for a moment because I gotta take a picture for you guys of my cat who is currently sitting just perfectly so on top of my modem. Well. You're the derpiest animal I've ever met in my life. Actually, you're not. My axolotl is the derpiest animal I've ever met in my life because he does not understand how food works. For an animal that just wants to do he wants to put everything in his mouth, he just has no idea how the concept of food occurs. He's very cute, but he is not particularly smart. Here, I'm gonna post that. I'm just gonna casually post. Oh, this cat is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. She is now laying on the modem. Rachel's right, I need a kitty cam. Except the kitty cam wouldn't work very well because she's on the opposite side of where the kitty cam usually is. Ooh, a horned cat person. Yeah. Permanently an infant. He is, though. He's just puts everything in his mouth. Doesn't sleep. Has no idea where he is at any point in time. Just does not like car rides. At all. Is not a fan. A horned cat person with glowing eyes and monochromatic colors. That sounds cool. Sounds kind of like ethereal and and kind of neat. This one I gave a little bit of the, I gave her like a fluff, like a, like a pigeon. Oh yeah, I'm sure that modem's super warm. It's 72 degrees in here, so it's not that cold. Although she's also sick, so maybe she wants to be toasty warm because the modem is warm because maybe she's cold. The vet told me to give her saline drops to help clear out her sinuses, but she doesn't like that. This cat does not appreciate anything being near her face, and as soon as I opened the bottle of saline solution, she just ran. I think she smelled the salt and was like, nope, I'm out. Tell you what, it was really cold in here the other morning because I didn't expect it to be 20 degrees outside, and so I had my heater set to not let the temperature go below 68, and it was 68 degrees when I woke up, and it was cold. I did not want to get out of bed that day. Not a fan of that prospect. Yes, I am going to just copy-paste this highlight. Mostly because I'm a nerd, and it has to be even. It has to be the same size on all of them, or else it's gonna bother me. Like, even if they're not lined up correctly, at least the fact that they're all the same shape tricks you into thinking that it's fine. I can't think of too many other animals that are permanently babies, though. Now that you say that. What time is it? It's almost 11 o'clock. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not actually even tired yet. It's maybe sort of a problem. So one thing I tend to do when I draw is, since I use so many layers and I work on a multiply layer for my shadows, what I'll do is I'll make the base layer, I'll make the base. That was weird, the music that I cut out a little bit, and it scared me. I thought my computer exploded, or was about to explode, but it was just the music stopping. So I take my shadow color, whatever color I was using for the shadows, and I put that as the base color. That way, like, if I ever want to work on this without the color, with all the different, like, feather patterns and stuff, I can just turn the color layer off. And then I have just shadows to work with, so it gives me a little bit of extra space to work with, I guess. Gives me some flexibility on what I'm working on. Dude, me too. I had, like, the tastiest chicken I've ever had in my life for dinner. I got home from work, and I didn't really want to cook, but, like, I knew I needed to. So, I had just bought chicken, and we were talking about over Thanksgiving. The neighbors downstairs invited me to their family's house since I'm not near my family this year I wasn't near my family this year for Thanksgiving. So they invited me to their house, which was super nice. It was super nice of them, but we got talking, me and their daughter got talking about, like, vegetarian stuff, like, not like the philosophies behind being vegetarian so much, but more so, like, the health benefits. Not because I'm vegetarian, because I like chicken too much to be vegetarian, but, because she had watched a documentary on Netflix about, like, you know, where meat comes from and whatever, and she, like, freaked her out a whole bunch, so she was, like, suddenly very anti-meat. I get it, sort of. I guess I sort of understand. I like my chicken too. But, the whole point of that conversation was that, I started thinking, we started talking about, you know, specific choices that make things healthier, you know, reducing sugar in your diet, increasing your protein, that kind of stuff. And, I started buying, like, better quality products at the grocery store. It costs me a little more, but I'm also not a starving artist anymore. Like, I don't have a great, like, my job doesn't pay phenomenally, but it is way better than I could have ever asked for an entry-level job. And, you know, it's not like a crazy amount, you know, it's not like I get paid like a doctor or something, you know, like, it's not an insane amount of money in the scope of things. It's a pretty decent amount for an intro artist, I guess I should say. But anyway, so I'm not like a total starving artist, so I do spend a little bit of extra money on, that's part of the reason I discourage donations and stuff. I'd rather you guys save your money for other stuff, because I don't really need, I don't discourage it, I just, you know, if you don't have the money to spend on me, don't. But, so I bought, organic chicken this time. That was the point of that story. I always get stuck on the money word like that. I bought organic chicken this time. Like, I bought, like, the cage-free, you know, certified organic, whatever. And I don't know if any of that stuff is really, you know, true or worth the money or whatever, but that chicken was, like, the best chicken I've ever eaten. It's so good. Yeah, or I did too. I stopped, like, fast food. Well, I haven't stopped fast food totally, because sometimes I have to get fast food for various reasons, you know. I have had nights where I was at work until, like, 7:30, so by the time I was done driving home, it was gonna be, like, you know, 8 o'clock, and at that point, I just stopped and got, like, you know, Dairy Queen on the way home or something. You know, I just got, you know, chicken tenders, excuse me, fries, and an ice cream, because my day had just sucked. But for the, like, I don't go like once a week or anything, you know. I mostly just grab fast food in case of emergencies. If I just don't have time to cook, I don't try. But yeah, I'm not really actually big on soda. I don't really care for soda all that much. I've never really liked it that much. My issue was always fruit juice, because fruit juice has a lot of sugar in it. But even that, like, I just prefer water. And actually, those little, I don't know if you guys have ever had them, those little, I think they're called Mio. Yeah, the Mio flavors. These little pods. These things are so good, and I don't know, like, I don't know what their, I mean, I've tried to Google it, but, like, I don't know what their deal is that they can be so, like, good for you. Or not good for you. Like, I don't really know anything about their, I know it sounds really bad that I'm, like, eating something that I don't even know what's in it, but, like, I don't. Because if you look at the side of the bottle on those, they're, like, 0 calories, 0 sugar, so, like, I don't know what's in them that makes them not be bad for you, but they make water taste like juice, and it's so good. Like, I just put, like, 2 or 3 drops in, and it's enough to make my water taste awesome. And so I just drink water all the time. Like, one of those things with, like, a grape flavoring, the water is so refreshing when it tastes like grape. Even more so than regular water. I just drink it constantly. So I stay really hydrated because that water's so good. But I mostly cut out, like, I cut out the obvious sugars, like sodas and like, I even stopped eating, like, chips and stuff. I like chips, but, like, they're not something, they're not, chips for me are not the same level of addiction as, like, chocolate and cookies. Like, I have a really hard time with, like, dessert food. Because I love dessert food so much. And it's a little bit of a problem because I end up just eating a ton of junk food all the time. I'm a little bit of a scrub like that. That's one thing I've been having a lot of trouble letting go, is the junk food. The sweet food. I like my sweets so much. I also mostly cut down, I mostly cut down, like, meats that aren't chicken and, meats that aren't just chicken and, salmon. Like, I eat a lot of salmon now. I mostly cut down those.
like pork and red meat. I mostly cut that down. Not specifically this is bad for you, just because I don't eat it that much. They're all right. I don't know. What are your guys? What are your guys' downfalls? What's your one food that you just couldn't give up? Or if you were going to try to give it up, it would be really hard. Because for me, like I'm trying to give up, you know, as much sugar as I'm eating, and that's not going so well. Somebody brought in chocolate chip cookies today, and they were just so soft and they were perfect. I mean, they were like the perfect chocolate chip cookie. And I wish I knew what company they came from, because I would copy that recipe so fast. I mean, they were just flawless in every way, and I also will admit that I ate like 6 of them. Chocolate, no doubt. Yep. Oh yeah, definitely chocolate. My sister's lucky like that. She doesn't even really like chocolate, so she just doesn't have to worry about that. That's not like an obstacle in her life because she doesn't like chocolate. Chocolate comes for me. It calls. It's facing it, so I'm having a hard time. I'm around in my head. I don't know how he got on food. I think because Aura said they were hungry. And then I remembered that I was also hungry, and I probably need to find something healthy to eat when I'm done streaming, because otherwise I will just eat another one. Oh, already hit. I think every other week for me ends up being a cheat week. Yeah, she's just not big on chocolate. The only kind of chocolate type thing she likes is M&Ms, and it's because the M&Ms have that candy coating on them. I think if you could get M&Ms that were just the candy coating, she would just eat the candy. I don't get it either. I think it's fucking weird, but I'm also mostly saying that because I love her. She's insane and I love her. Megxolotl. She doesn't like chocolate. She doesn't like peanut butter either, which I actually think is super weird. And I only think it's super weird because she also likes things like almond butter, and they're pretty similar, so I just thought that was weird that she likes almond butter but not peanut butter, but I don't question. She's my sister and I love her no matter what. Even if her life choices confuse me. That's not exactly what he looks like, but I'm going for it. We're going with it. This is what he looks like. This is the new one. Ah, spaghetti and brownies. I love spaghetti. Pasta is also another downfall. Notice that the pattern here is sugar, just a lot of sugar. Carbs and sugar. I love spaghetti. I found this recipe on online for skinny Alfredo sauce. It basically eliminates the use of, I don't know if I talked about this before. It basically eliminates the use of like heavy cream in the sauce. I don't know how, but it reduces the calorie count like immensely. And it's like it doesn't taste any different. Like it has the same like like if you cook it right. So I think that's part of the trick with that version of it, is that like is that you gotta like you have to cook the butter and the flour really slow, like even more so than usual to make sure it gets creamy, and like you have to cook the milk enough. I don't know, like I don't 100% know why it is the way it is, but it's like way better for you apparently. Apparently, they say.
I figure anything that doesn't have heavy cream in it's like good for you. That's how my brain works. I had that the other night for dinner. I made that Alfredo sauce and just... I pay a little bit of attention because I am a little bit overweight. Like, I don't watch a whole bunch, but... I don't have, like, I used to have an app on my phone that I used to count calories, but all it ended up doing was it just stressed me out a lot. Because then I was, like, keenly aware of how much I was eating in a day, and it was impossible to stay under the goal that it wanted me to have, and so I just stopped doing it. But doing that for even a couple of weeks, and starving myself, and it just sucked, even that kind of taught me, like, how much sugar is in stuff, or how many calories are in a thing. And it just helped me make a little bit better choices. I'm not, like, extreme dieting, but, replicating this will suck. Like, I guess it's more so just to be, like, a little bit healthier, because I tried for a long time to actually lose weight, because I am a little bit heavy, but I don't have the willpower to stick with it. I don't like exercising at all, and so it wasn't going well, and I've sort of accepted at this point that, like, this is the weight I am, and this is the weight I'm gonna stay, because I can't give up things like sugar. So instead what I'm going to do is make sure I watch what I put in my body, so that even if I'm going to be a little bit heavy, at least my body's getting the nutrients it needs, you know? Yes, I'm gonna mix it in with junk food and sugar and stuff, but at least, you know, for dinner I had a whole plate of vegetables, and it's better than usual, sort of thing, if that makes sense. Just trying to make a little bit better choices, even if it's not going to impact my weight at all. And if it impacts my weight, great, and if it doesn't, then all my clothes still fit me because I'm smart and bought clothes to fit my body instead of trying to lose weight to fit into clothes that don't fit me. The only thing that happened that was unfortunate for me gaining a little weight was that my winter jacket does not fit me as well as it used to, and that's unfortunate, but hey, what can you do? Oh yeah, Aura, I think that's pretty normal. I think that's considered, like, average. I'm like... thinking about what I want to do with this, because this gray color's not coming the way I wanted. Yeah, I'm, fun fact for anybody who doesn't know me in real life. I am, roughly... I'm like 5'3", 5'4", and I weigh 200 pounds, so... You know, I'm not ashamed of it at all. I'm, you know, way open to admitting it. Because I'm not a light human being. I am on the heavier side. You know, I got a little chunk, and that's because I like junk food. I like sugar. So I am a little bit above average. I'm not, like, morbidly overweight, but I am, you know, at a point where I could stand to lose a couple pounds. So instead, I'm gonna attempt to just be smart about what I eat and not make shit choices. I've heard that too, that exercise doesn't help. I mean, a part of it is that when you exercise, you gain more, you actually gain pounds because you're putting on muscle. In most cases. So, looking solely at the weight doesn't always help, but... Yeah. Part of my problem with losing any sort of, like, you know, good amount of weight is that I live a very sedentary lifestyle. You know, I wake up in the morning and I stand a lot because I make breakfast and I get dressed and I lunch together and whatever, but then I sit in my car and I drive to work and I spend a half hour sitting in my car. And then I spend 8 hours to 9 hours, some days unfortunately 10 hours. I spend a ton of hours though sitting at my desk. And then after I'm done sitting at my desk for the entire day, then I sit in my car and I drive home. And I drive home and I get to my house and I stand for a little while I cook, but then I sit. You know, I eat my dinner, I sit, I relax, and then I come stream and I sit for an hour and a half, and then I go to bed. So, like, my whole day is sitting. And that also impacted my that's why I think I gained probably like 5 or 6 pounds since I moved out to Missouri, purely based on my lifestyle change. Because I lost a little bit of weight working at Babies R Us because I was up on my feet all the time. We were running all over the place doing craziness during the holidays. You know, it was high energy all the time, and so I was standing and walking and moving and carrying things, and I still maintain some of my muscle from that. Like, I still can lift things. That's actually the funniest thing about having worked at Babies R Us, is that, like, 80% of the time, if I'm, like, when I was moving, after I moved in, I went to Target and I bought, like, a bookshelf or something, and I dragged it out of my car, and the reason I dragged it out was because it was in at a funny angle, and I knew I would pull my back out if I tried to lift it at the angle it was at. So I dragged it out of the car so that I could get a better angle on it. But of course, one of the neighbors saw me and was like, "Oh my god, don't lift that by yourself. Here, let me go get my husband. He can lift it for you." And I just, like, muscled that up onto my shoulder. Like, I lifted that bookshelf in its little stupid rectangular box. I hoisted that shit up onto my shoulder so fast that I just looked at her and I was like, I really appreciate it. Like, genuinely, I appreciate the offer, but I got this. I look like I could sit down and eat an entire box of donuts by myself, but I can lift this 60-pound bookshelf. Fret not. Aaroness, that is a great point. Go to the gym and run for an hour and burn 300 calories, or skip the morning Starbucks and eliminate 500 calories. You're not even wrong. Morning Starbucks is... Jesus. I have been having smoothies for breakfast, which is a very good option for me. It's fast, it's easy, it tastes good. You know, it's liquid, so I just drink it. You know, it gives me all my energy and nutrients right off the bat in the morning, and it actually lasts me a pretty, like, even though it's liquid, it lasts me a pretty long time throughout the day before I get hungry. So that's been a good option for me for breakfast. Mostly because when I first wake up, I don't feel like eating anyway. I feel gross when I wake up, and so I don't want to eat. Yeah, like I said, it's mostly just a life choice thing. I want to feel better, you know? But since I am not willing to put in the work to lose weight, we'll just be smart about what I eat. It's actually incredible when you think about it, like, how much, you know, how much stuff is in fast food. Especially things like Starbucks. You know, you just don't think about it. Hey, we got some burbs. Beautiful. Alright. I can feel that I'm going to start getting tired soon. I'm not tired yet, but I am feeling right on the cusp of that. So let me see if I can get these guys finished up real quick before I start yawning. Because if I start yawning, then I'm done. I can feel a little sleepy, but the second I yawn, I'm out. Try to... I think that's why when people start doing, like, dieting, like, specifically for losing weight, they tell you the first thing to do is eliminate all your sodas. Because that's just all empty calories. It doesn't make you feel full, it just tastes good. I think some people have a really hard time processing certain things, too. I also, and when I go home for vacation, I'm gonna ask my doctor about it, but I kind of wonder if my trouble losing weight, even though I'm attempting to diet, I know some of it's that I keep eating sugar, But I do sort of wonder if a little bit of my struggle is because I have a bunch of medication. Well, not a bunch. I have 2 medications, and one of them I hardly ever take. But, like, you know, birth control, I imagine that probably has a lot to do with my inability to lose weight. I think that affects that. Or at least I think it has the potential to. I need that. That needs to exist in my life, or else my body hates me. But that's kind of a weird, gross topic, so we won't talk about it. Just know that that exists in my life. Now you know too much. I don't know if talking about birth control falls under the category of TMI about a person. I don't think it does, but then again, I'm a relatively relaxed individual. You can talk to me about pretty much anything. I guarantee you anything you could tell me, I have seen weirder shit on the internet, so nothing bothers me. Aha! Now you're hungry. Victory. That was the plan all along. We were trying to make everybody eat food. The plan, really, you know, we'll let you in on it. We'll let you in on the secret since you're gonna start eating too. Is that you know, if you get everybody else to eat, everybody else ends up the same, you know, weight and hunger as you, then you're not heavy on it. Else is eating too, and then you don't feel guilty about it. Else is doing it. Gotta get that psychology in there. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's 11:14 at night, and I have been awake since 7 o'clock, and I hardly even got out of bed to go to work today, and then work was madness, so I've just been babbling about it since. I feel like these came out extra shitty for some reason, and I don't know why. I think it's because I'm working on them and they're so small. I also don't know that I care. That button. Why isn't this working? That's sort of one of the funny things, still thinking about whether or not I'm still thinking about things that people think are, you know, TMI or whatever, or not safe for work, and it's funny, you know, after you go to art school or you take art classes or whatever, and you, like, you know, if you spend any amount of time drawing nude models, your entire perspective of the universe shifts. Because it seems like it would be really awkward to draw from a nude model, like, in real life. Like, not just sitting in your room drawing from a computer. Like, drawing... like, having a naked person stand in front of you and drawing them feels really awkward to people who first get into it. And, like, I'll admit, I was one of those people when I first went to college. I was really scared about the idea of drawing from a nude model. And it is, like, the least terrifying thing I think I've ever done. And what's funny about it is that the universe is so much more simple now that I have done that. You see so many people, they get all, like, weird about naked people. They're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry that I walked in on you changing. And at this point, like, I have seen so many naked people in an artistic standpoint that I'm like, dude, it's cool. Like, if you're embarrassed, you know, whatever, but sure. It happens, dude. Whatever. People, guess what? People don't wear clothes all the time. That happens. You know, I think you end up reaching a point of just, yeah, no, whatever. You've seen enough naked people that you just, nothing matters. If that makes sense, if that makes any sense at all. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have been in that position, if you've ever, you know, had to draw from a live model. But it is a strange and enlightening experience. Like, if I've ever had somebody walk in on me while I was, like, changing or something, they always get, like, really, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm just, yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't freak out. I'm not, like, mad. I don't think it's weird. I don't take that as weird. Don't worry about it. I think after having taken classes where you gotta do, you know, that kind of stuff, I also just kind of got comfortable talking about other topics, too. And the internet also contributed to that, because the internet is a weird place and there's a lot of weird people on the internet. So if you think, you know, if another person thinks that walking in on me changing is weird, then fine. I don't know how I got on this topic. Just need something to talk about. Weird perspectives. Things that are socially awkward. Things that make me uncomfortable. Things that make other people uncomfortable. I don't know. I'm drawing birds. There's some nice birds on the screen. Now they look a little less shitty. Yeah, birds. I'm gonna turn down this light. Yeah. Yeah, look at those beautiful birds. So beautiful. Stretch. Alright. Let's see. Suppose I could color the birds on the bottom, but maybe it's time to go to bed. Cute birds. Love the birds. Always love the birds. Cute birds. Birds are a happy friend. Birds like to make friends. Feet. Their feet are good for walking on sand. Let's see. What else we got? I don't know. Starting to ramble, so maybe it's a good time for me to go to bed. I'm not tired yet, but I don't know if awkward babbling artsy is interesting. My sleepiness have gotten strange. Yeah, I think I'm gonna head to bed. A little tired. I think I'm more tired than I think I am. I think as soon as I stop streaming and stop talking constantly and go lay down, I'm gonna realize how tired I am. So, I'm glad you guys came and hung out with me for a little bit. Kind of a random little Friday stream. So, I guess we'll figure out what's going on with the schedule at some point. I don't know if this, not doing things with my families on Friday thing is gonna continue to be a thing, but, you know. Well, I'll figure it out. But, yeah, so thanks for coming to hang out with me. I will see you guys tomorrow night, I guess, for things and stuff. We'll draw I think I'm gonna do Mage Winter's commission tomorrow, because I keep slacking on that, and I need to finish your guys' commissions. So, yeah. Have a good night, have a good rest of your day, and I will, see you later. Right. Bye!
bye.